Hello and welcome back to Adventurous Way. I'm Diana.
And I'm Matt, and we're back here at the property again today working on our solar kiln build.
So first we'll start with notching out the corners on the extra plates that we put on. We forgot to do that from the beginning, so we'll just notch them out now.
We were desperately trying to get to the point that those skids were done last time we were here, and we just forgot a little notch. It's probably not super essential. It's a little design detail I put in so that when we are dragging the skids, the rear skid that's being kind of dragged backwards, the corner there won't dig into the dirt. So we'll just add that in now. Should be fairly easy to add.
Yeah, and then we'll have the long skids done and we'll put them on the ground and start assembling the frame.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to try and get this level again, and after doing the sawmill last week and leveling that, we know how much fun that can be. Hopefully this should be a little bit easier. It's not quite so complex, and we can just prop it up mainly at either end. We're going to use some of our offcuts of wood to get it level, and then once we kind of know exactly what we need, we can go out and pick up some concrete blocks or pavers or something to be a bit more durable. But yeah, really the goal today is to see if we can get the entire floor assembly framed in and sheathed. We may get to start on the insulation. So we're going to put some foam insulation board underneath the kind of the OSB top layer that we're putting on. We're going to do that by putting the OSB on first and then using the tractor to kind of lift the floor structure up so we can get to it from underneath. Yep. And that way we can use some construction adhesive just to stick the foam board on. What I think is quite cool about the foam board is we need to use 1.5" foam insulation board, which, if you may remember from a video we did almost exactly a year ago, is what we used as skirting around our RV when we spent the winter in the RV in Vermont last winter. We actually saved all of the foam insulation board when we took it off. It just felt criminal to put all of that in the trash. So we actually saved it all. We threw it in a storage unit along with some other things and just kept it, thinking, don't know what we'll use it for, but hopefully we can find a use.
This is a perfect use for it.
Yeah, so we're going to try and reuse as much of that as possible. There are some small pieces which just may not fit and things, but we'll try and reuse as much as we possibly can. See how far that gets us, and then if we do need to go out and buy some more, then we can, but we'll save some cash and, more importantly, save that foam board from going into landfill. So that is the plan for today.
So let's get to work. Okay, so we have the base done and squared up. And
yeah, I think we got to within a 32nd of an inch on the diagonals on this, and as level as we can get it with a 6.5 foot long level. So
obviously it might change a little bit as we keep banging nails in.
But we can recheck it and make sure it stays square.
Yeah, we'll square it again before putting sheathing on. Now the next step is to cut the joists and nail them into the joist hangers.
Yeah, so Diana is the cut person today. She's going to be going through all of those joists. Meanwhile, I guess I'm the hammering person, and I'm going to be using the hammer. I will say when we get to framing the house, we are almost certainly going to have a nailer. Yes. It was not worth it getting it for this. We'll just use a couple of framing hammers and that'll work well.
Getting some good practice.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be plenty I'm sure we nail in by hand on the house just because of location or joist hangers or whatever. So yeah, good practice to get in. We have got two kind of joists either end, which aren't on hangers. They're direct into the rails. So we spent some time getting those all like perfectly square and flush and tight and things. So they're all secured now. So it should hold it pretty square. And then we're going to go in, as Diana cuts the joist, she's going to drop them in. I'm then going to attach the joist hangers onto the side rail. So we've attached one side, we're going to attach the other side now, but the joists will just be kind of floating in there. And then once they're all in and they all fit and we know we're all good, we'll come back through and nail through the joist hangers into the joists as well to secure them in place.
Yeah, and so far I'm actually loving the circle saw that's battery powered. So the no cord is just so much easier to deal with and move it around from one location to different location. So I'm enjoying that.
And it's got some power as well. It's the DeWalt Flex Volt, the 60 volt cordless circular saw. And I've used the 20 volt one, or one of their 20 volt ones in the past, and it works fine. This is a good step up. This feels basically like a corded circular saw in terms of power.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
making quick work of even these big pieces of pressure treated wood.
Okay, so let's get some more done before lunch.
As you can see behind me, we've got all of the joists in now. They're all cut really nicely and looking great. The next thing to do is actually nail through the joist hangers into the joists and secure those in place. However, it's about 12:30, almost 1 o'clock, and it is time for lunch. So we're going to break for lunch and we'll pick that up afterwards, but really pleased with the progress so far.
We finished nailing the joist hangers, and with the chalk line we'll mark the center, and then we'll mark where the blocking will go.
Okay, and I've got the tension on it.
Okay.
So I'll pull and you're going to come into the middle and snap it. Okay. Perfect. Give me 12 and 3/16 actually.
Okay.
Perfect fit. Right.
Okay, so the next one?
Next one is 14 and 5/16.
Ta-da! We have put in all the blocking and all nailed it on. And we got this box of nails and we have this many nails left. I think that worked out quite well.
And this thing is sturdy. It is so strong. Yeah, and the sheathing isn't even on. Once we get the Advantech on,
Yeah.
this thing is going to really stiffen up again. But already it's properly strong.
Yeah.
Happy with this.
Nice. So now, time for some sheathing.
How's it looking on your side?
Yeah, it's good like that. Yeah, perfect.
Snap.
And we did it. We are now standing on the floor of our solar kiln.
Yeah, we started about 10 o'clock this morning. It's just after 5 o'clock here now. So we've been at this about 7 hours, had about an hour break for lunch and things.
Yep.
This thing is solid. So we've got two 2x12s making up the skids, and then the joist going across are 16-inch on center, 2x8s, doubled at either end, and then blocked in the middle as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, this thing is so solid. We've got, I think it's 3/4 inch Advantech on
Yep.
top, and this thing just isn't moving. I've been jumping up and down on here, and it's barely flexing at all, even in the middle.
Yep.
And that's only supported at the 4 corners. When we actually have this thing loaded up, we'll support it in the middle as well with a couple more kind of blocks and things.
Yep.
I'm really happy with this. This is our first time building something together.
Yeah.
It worked out really well.
Besides the sawmill, this is actually like wood construction building.
First construction that we've done. I think everything went really well. The only thing that was a bit tricky was the way that the shape of this and the Advantech, the sheets, the nailing pattern would have worked better if we'd gone the other way around on the sheets.
But it would have been more waste of the material.
Yeah, so the actual layout of this meant it just made more sense for us to lay it this way down. For what it is, for a solar kiln, for this type of project, that is not a problem whatsoever. We've got 6-inch nailing pattern all around the outside, 12-inch in the field, kind of in the middle of the panels and things. And yeah, I mean, there's no signs of, they're all screwed down, it's not nailed down, there's no signs of squeakiness. And honestly, it's a solar kiln.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Who cares if it squeaks a bit? Our big concern, and the reason that we're making this so strong, or trying to, is we do want to be able to drag this around using the tractor or using the truck to move it on these skids, which is why we've built it this way. And obviously that's going to put a lot of torque on it when you move it. So we are trying to build it strong so that it resists any kind of movement there. For now though, I'm really happy with this. We haven't got to the insulation underneath. That's the next step. We're going to flip this up on its side and then with the using the tractor, and then we can get underneath and start attaching the foam insulation board underneath the plywood between the joists.
So obviously we don't have much experience in this, except, you know, you did a little bit of woodworking. I've taken the Estamoro
not
course.
This kind of thing, yeah.
So if you see us doing something that we could do more efficiently, please let us know. If you're seeing something we're doing wrong, please give us your opinion. And
be gentle. Like, this is our first time doing this, but we do want to learn. We do want to improve. So if you do see things we can improve at, please do let us know.
And even better if you could like point where in the code book it says, you know, how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to build this to the code, but we kind of, this is our practice run for, you know, building the mechanical building and the house. So the sooner we learn how to find certain things in code book, you know, it's going to be better.
Yeah, so you could argue this is probably over-engineered in some respects for basically an outdoor shed.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why we're using it as a practice run.
Yeah, so. And we learned things.
We did, and it was good fun. Yeah. I think we worked well as a team.
Yeah.
We're both still alive. No, we haven't killed each other yet. Having the 2 impact drivers worked really well.
Yeah.
We bought this new one just a week ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last Monday we ordered it. And that's been great. Having those 2 going together, it's definitely more powerful, but just having 2 has been the big advantage.
And I think I'm getting better at freehanding the circle saw cuts.
Yeah, if you saw Dinah doing most of the circular saw cutting today, that's because I suck at freehand cutting. I know I need to learn, I know I need to get better, but
we'll get you on some practice.
I suck. Diana's really good. So Diana's been doing all the cuts on the plywood today. I'm fine doing the cross cuts with a square and things, but the freehand cuts is not my forte at the moment. So I decided to let Diana do it this time. I say let, I mean, Diana has a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, we're really happy with this.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed so that you can see the next episode of our solar kiln build.